brought up in a committee that you're not on, just send an email out to that board chair. That's worked well, but it doesn't work that often. There's not a lot of comments that are sent in from other board members that are on opposite committees. I don't know if that answers your question, but it's...
When you guys are doing your committee meetings, agendas, do you circulate those agendas ahead of time to all the board members, or just the committee?
Yes.
The full board, right?
Full board gets...
And then anybody on the board is contributing to the agenda for your committee?
You mean adding things to the agenda?
Yeah, or just say, hey, if you do.
That
Yeah,
kind of comes up in our meetings. If you want to see something, maybe at a subsequent meeting, we would talk about it. The agendas are kind of written right now by the administration with the input of the committee chair.
Okay.
But if there's an item you'd like to talk about next month, we want to see test scores in this area or whatever, that would be in the committee meeting or in the meeting of the whole as well. We could add those items or request information.
The liaison from central office typically contacts the chair of that committee prior to the board letter going out to talk about what's upcoming, what they would like to see on the agenda. And then between the two, they pretty much put the agenda together, and then that's what gets sent out with those typically.
So if we were to come to your committee meeting, describe for us what we would see. So where do you have one meeting going on, where you have another? How does that logistically all work for you?
We have a room about maybe twice the size of this, maybe not quite, with a divider, and the committees meet with the divider pulled closed. We very seldom have to open up the divider for public, just because we don't get that number of people. And the two committees meet. It's a pretty good sound barrier, so as long as nobody's not yelling at each other, it doesn't carry through the room. And they meet at the same time. And if one committee gets finished before the other, they move into this. They're welcome to come into the other committee to sit in on. We do allow public in the committee meetings to speak as long as we have time after the agenda items are discussed. That's kind of where the work gets done for us.
A little less formal.
Sure.
And how long do those meetings typically last?
Start at 6:30, and the regular meeting starts at 7:30, and that typically is the committee of the whole, when the committee of the whole starts, and then we just go into the regular meeting. We advertise it so that if we have our committee meetings go quick, we can still start the regular meeting. So technically, our board meeting starts at 6:30. So we don't have to wait until 7:30 in order to start.
You had mentioned that you had some people who serve particularly well in the role. Do you think that the structure works well for you because of the board you have, or the board you have functions because of the structure of this committee being effective?
That's a good question. Well, you've been instructional chair for a good while. Jeff has been at board governance for 2 years. Steve was it 3, maybe 4, probably 3, I guess. I would say it works well because our board works together pretty well. I mean, we have very few 5-4 votes. I mean, occasionally we'll get a 7-2, but I think it's a combination of both. I mean, I think our committee chairs take it pretty seriously, and our board follows along with it pretty well.
And we do take, input from board members if they prefer to serve on a certain committee versus another. If you can lean towards more of the governance instead of the finance, you can, ultimately you still have to vote on the budget, but it can be on the governance and the instructional committee too.
That's our fun job in January. We didn't make any changes this year, so it worked well for the last couple of years. We don't have any. We have one new board member.
I think really taking the time when you do come back as a committee of the whole and listening to the questions of those other board members to make sure that they're heard. That's really, as long as everybody feels like they're being heard, I think that's the biggest thing.
Do you have negotiations coming up? We will do a separate committee for negotiations in it's usually president, vice president, Christine and I, and then another board member. We do a committee of 3. So we do have some other committees that are kind of as needed. Our negotiations, if any of you followed it, we went for a long time with our support services, which we just recently settled, which we're real happy about. We're talking about an athletic committee, kind of an ad hoc committee that brings some parents in, maybe a coach or two, to not so much to run the athletics, but to try and reach out to get some more support. Some of our sports do pretty well, some of them struggle a little bit, and we haven't put that in place yet, but we do have a couple of community members that are pretty serious about they would like to chair a committee. So we're thinking about adding that committee. That would meet though. That wouldn't be a board type meeting committee. That would kind of set their own times. We did that before, and it worked okay. And then things, I think the leadership kind of lost interest in. So I don't know if we're going to do that one again, but our main committees are the 3. If we would have a building project, we would probably have a 4th that the board would be a part of. But we do have the other groups, which at one time we were negotiating with 2 groups. So that takes a fair amount of time.
On the years where you've had the 4 committees, then what does that structure look like? Are you running 2 meetings simultaneously?
We would do 2 and 2.
2 and 2?
Yeah, and we would just do the same split up of people. It got a little bit tougher with who we assigned to the committees, because if you're on one, you almost had to be on the other one. You couldn't, so it limited. You didn't always get what you wanted to be on.
Any other questions, Les?
When you guys are taking public comment, how do you manage that? Just as a
In a committee meeting or in a board meeting?
Committee.
In a committee, if we have time left, we'll open it up for questions. If somebody would come to the chair, I don't know, maybe you're better to answer this because you chair a committee. If somebody comes up to the chair and asks, I'd like to talk about this topic, they're usually I don't think we ever shut anybody off.
No. It's definitely much more informal, so while the board is asking questions, if there happens to be in my committee a public member that would like to ask a question, we usually let them ask it, and the principals and everybody is great with responding to their answer as well.
We do have a 3-minute policy. Very rarely does it get enforced. If we have a lot of people at committees, we probably would rethink that. But even our board meetings, we kind of let people say what they need to say anytime they can say it.
Any challenges that you guys run into with that you would give advice to new board members?
There's 6 new board members.
that haven't ever been to a committee meeting yet.
Their first committee.
You're our first meeting. Anybody got questions?
For me, I'm a slow learner. It took me a while to get up to speed. It really took 2 years to really understand, how the board and how the central office works. We went to the PSBA orientation things, and that helped a little bit, but it's just kind of learn as you go. You got to trust each other. I would say that's probably worked for us the best. I wouldn't say that everybody we always had full trust, but our board's pretty respectful of each other. We don't get into shout matches. Our board meetings go pretty quick. We usually, if we were there past 9 o'clock, that's a late meeting. We usually try and have it organized. And if there's something that we think is going to be an issue because we don't have enough information to make a decision, we'll table it and push it off to the next, unless it's something critical that has to happen. Yeah, just respect your other board members, and I think you'll do fine.
Be ready to listen, there's a lot of learning.
How many times have you served as president now? Okay. How long have you been on the school board?
26. And I honestly never intended to be on that long,
It does an amazing job.
But-
No.
I mean, like you, I grew up in the district. I don't know how many of you have grown up in Owen J. Robertson district. That's